I'm black ambition. I'm always whispering. They keep telling me I will not, but I won't listen.
You want to be let out of here? You're welcome to go.
Black man.
What's up, Philadelphia? Welcome to another episode of Scotty Talks Philly Sports. I'm here with my man Phil, Beard of Knowledge, and remember to throw that follow on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, all about the birds, AAT birds. See, I got it down that time, Phil.
Did you write a little note on the top of your screen so you wouldn't forget?
Nah, it's because I write for you guys now, so I got it down, man. I got it down.
That's right. Check out the all-new All About the Birds website where he's writing for,
man.
He's already put out some good stuff.
Get some merch, man. Go buy some merch. Enjoy it, man. We got a lot of different stuff going on the website too, man. Got some different takes, some fantasy football, some power rankings. There's
all different things going on.
Yeah,
there.
And it's from all around the NFL.
You know what today is, right? 3 weeks from opening kickoff,
Oh, yeah,
I know
man.
we might be frustrated about the Sixers and the Phillies, but we're 3 weeks away from football, man.
Yeah, we need that ASAP, man.
We do.
Because with the birds, I can go week to week. Even if we have a loss, it's just not that bad. I can find the positives, and I don't know. It's just different. I'm on a whole other level with the birds, man. So
it's football.
Yeah, it's football, literally. So yeah, man, just feel free to give my man Phil a follow on Twitter, and as well as all about the birds. Remember, follow my account, my sports account, ST Philly Sports 1 on Twitter, Instagram. And then my personal account, Scotty Drown, on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. We're still pushing to get to 100 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer each episode. So we do appreciate everybody that takes the time to listen. We're working on getting these episodes out faster, man, because I see, the lag and you wait too long, especially in these playoffs, and it's irrelevant within a day. You know what I mean? So we're working on getting these episodes out next day and, getting ahead of the curve. But thanks for everybody that tunes in, checks out our stuff. Make sure to check out the All About the Birds website. We're writing every day. We're putting out new articles every day, keeping you guys covered on all the NFL news. So, yeah, we'll get right into it today. Really downtime as far as, the Sixers. We'll get into that, what's going on with that franchise. It's a whole lot of disappointment and frustration, and it's all going to come out this offseason, and we'll talk about that. Going to preview the Flyers-Islanders. That'll be a very interesting series. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Flyers, of course. Every matchup going here on out is going to be really tough. It's the best of the best at this point. And then we'll get into these Phillies trades, the way the Phillies are trending right now. Also very disappointing. They're just so inconsistent. You go from winning 4 in a row to losing 5 in a row. We'll get into it. So we'll start with the Flyers. They got to close out the Canadians on Friday. I think it was was it 3-2 or 4-3? 3-2. Okay. As far as the Friday night score, I know we beat them 4-2 in the series. So just briefly, what was your takeaway from that Canadian series, and how do you feel going forward? What do you feel like needs to happen?
Well, the first thing that I really, really stood out that I was really happy for in that last game, they finally broke this knot and got a couple power play goals. There's no way they can go the Islanders series without scoring on the power play and win that series. So they definitely got to do that. And, of course, that Canadian series, it's Carter Hart. It was the Carter Hart show the whole entire time. There was the team didn't play as well in that series as they did against, the 3 teams in the playing games or the round robin games. They didn't look as crisp. They didn't look as fast, whether that's a little bit of their youth showing and, their older players getting tired. I don't know, but they definitely got to get back to playing as they did in the beginning of the bubble versus the Canadian series because it just wasn't. It wasn't a clean win. They were clearly the more talented team, and that's what, got them over the hump. But it wasn't, I was on the edge of my seat and worried in every single one of those games. So they definitely got to clean up their play a lot there.
Yeah, so I thought the same thing as you. You saw in those 3 play-in games, those round-robin games, they were playing better teams as well, statistically and ranked higher, better records, more points, everything. So, you look at it, you're playing the Caps, the Bruins, and who was the other team they played? Tampa Bay, yeah. So those are, the top teams right there. Yeah. I mean, obviously the Caps are gone now. They lost to the Islanders, and they got handled pretty swiftly by the Islanders. But yeah, I just thought we really struggled with Canadian speed and physicality, which, with such a Philadelphia, we go by that Broad Street bully, style of play, and it's like this team doesn't really match up with that type of nickname. They're not the bullies out there, they're more of the skill and, playing great. They do play pretty good defense, I will say, but like you said, they rely on Carter Hart a lot. And, Carter Hart, with those 2 shutouts, he saved that series for us, you know what I mean? And I just think going forward, I thought towards the end of the Canadian series, they started to get more physical. I know Niskanen got suspended for that last game there for cross-checking Brendan Gallagher, which I thought that was a good thing. I thought it was good that they were, getting physical back. Brendan Gallagher was out there cross-checking the entire night, so he finally got some retaliation.
I think it was necessary of a suspension, but,
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was a hockey play, man. Just because the guys leaned over and you go to check him, that's not your fault. And it's only because he broke his jaw. That's the only reason he got suspended. It was, a player for a player type thing. And I just think if they take that energy of those last 2 games, because you started to see the chippiness in that Game 5 where the Canadians kind of, embarrassed them in that Game 5. Because the Flyers, I believe they were down 2-1 or maybe 1-0, and then they got 2 power play goals on that major penalty. It was like a 5-minute power play. They got 2 power play goals, and then the Canadians come back right after the power play and get 2 more goals to go up by 1, and then they end up beating us 5-3. But they were talking smack that game. They were being physical, and then you finally saw it towards the end of the game. Coots goes up and just blindsided somebody, after they scored a goal in the empty net. And then Voracek comes in and, cleans out. And you just finally saw the chippiness. It was like they were awake at that point, which I thought was good coming into this series. Like you said, with the Islanders, you're coming into a series where you're playing a very similar team to the Canadians. The Islanders – similar in a sense because they're very fast in the same way. The Canadians looked significantly faster than us skate-wise. And the difference is the Islanders play great defense from what I'm hearing. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting. The Islanders are another team with a lot of young offensive fast skaters. They know how to shoot the puck. But it's not overwhelming, especially with the Flyers defense. You know what I mean? The alarming thing from that first round series, I think, and it's been the whole playoffs, with Konechny and Giroux, and just our offensive guys have got to step up and get some points this series. We're going to need it.
Yeah. You can't go another series and expect to win with G, Coots, and TK, no goals. They haven't scored, 9 games, and all 3 of them are goalless. You're not going to continue to succeed like that.
Yeah.
And if they start scoring, and if the team as a whole starts scoring better, take some of the pressure off of Carter Hart too.
Exactly, man. Give him some leeway there, you know what I mean, so he doesn't feel like every goal could cost him the game. And, we saw good things out of Kevin Hayes. He's been really good. Voracek has been really good. He's leading the team in points in the playoffs right now. But we just need these other guys to get on, and get on their snide and get going as we go down this playoff line. Not everybody's going to start out hot, but, Travis Konechny has looked really suspect in that first series. He's looked, I don't want to say soft, but just out of whack, I would say. So I'm really hoping for him to get it together. He's our leading point scorer from the regular season. So hopefully we can get him going. I was looking at the Islanders and the Flyers matchup. I went down there, just the regular season matchups. So the Flyers actually went 0-3 against the Islanders this season. So which
that's not
just
good at all.
Yeah, it's not great at all. To be fair, 2 of the games I believe were in overtime, and one of them were lost to a shootout. So they were close games. You know what I mean? They were battling games. But like I said, that the Islanders played great defense, which that's something that could cause the Flyers to struggle. But on the same end, they're not great offensively, so it could balance out in that aspect. I looked at the stats from the first 3 games. Matthew Barzal and Ryan Pulock, they absolutely killed us. Barzal, I think, had 3 goals between the 3 games, and then what was it? I think 8 points between the 3 games. So he was just racking them up against us. If we look at the goalie matchup, which I thought was pretty interesting, I just wanted to see, because I haven't watched a lot of Islanders this year. I wanted to see what their goalie was like compared to Carter Hart. So this playoffs, these playoffs so far, including the round robin, their goalie Varlamov is 7-2, 1.67 goals per game. He has 212 saves, .934 saving percentage, 15 goals allowed, 227 shots attempted. So you compare that to Carter Hart, who we feel has, performed great this postseason. He's been the best player on our team.
Absolutely.
Carter Hart's sitting at 6-2, 1.71 goals per game, 217 saves, a .943 save percentage, 13 goals allowed, and then 230 shots attempted. So they're neck and neck as far as their production right now. I don't see a mismatch, either way in that end. We will see, the Flyers, based off their not head-to-head statistics playing against each other, but just their basic statistics, throughout the regular season, the Flyers are better than them in everything except for power play goals given up and the shorthanded goals given up. So everything else, they rank better than the Islanders. It's just a matter of putting it together against that team, which you just hope that it's not a bad matchup and that it was just, really competitive games that just didn't go their way. That's what I'm kind of hoping with this. I did want to get a prediction from you for the series, though.
Nah, man. I bombed that last prediction. My Flyers sweeped in last 2 games. Those Flyers playoff hockey hype that prediction. Okay?
Yeah, we were happy to be back in. I know I had said 4-1. I was wrong as well. But we were just hyped. We were ready to see them. They went 3-0 in the round robin, so it was hard not to.
Yeah, we were all hyped up and ready to roll. We were all flying up.
I mean, look what I said with the Sixers, man. I'm out here they're embarrassing me.
Yeah, that's another topic.
Flyers, of course.
I think the Flyers will win the series. Realistically, I was coming onto the show. I didn't do the Islanders research like you did. I was thinking probably maybe a 5-game series, Flyers win. But it probably, after hearing some of the things and some of the numbers and how they beat up on us earlier this year, realistically it could go 6 games, but the Flyers should win again. It's going to come down to their main goal scorers getting off the snide, scoring some, taking the pressure off of Carter Hart. There's another back-to-back, I believe, games 3 and 4, games 2 and 3 in the series. I could see, because I think Hart's one of his worst performances were in that back-to-back there. So maybe they give what's his name, Elliott, a spot and goal, and maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. But I see it 4-2 Flyers. They didn't put enough confidence in me against the Canadians to go any shorter than that. So, but I still think they are more than capable of beating the Islanders, easily to an extent.
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat. I'm thinking 4-2. Maybe 7 games, maybe.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
It depends way, some of those games swing. I'm going 4-2 with the confidence. I just think the Flyers, they have played not even their best so far, and they've done well. Carter Hart's excelled. He's been better than what, we even expect. And I think we should take care of business at this point. If we can get our offensive guys going, then we're going to be even better. You know what I mean? So the defense is already rolling. The goalie's rolling. You know, we were able to get some power play goals going towards the end of that series against the Canadians. Let's just find our full groove and let's hit stride right here, and we can take care of business. That's the way I look at it. We were a better team than them during the regular season. Obviously, the matchups didn't go the way we wanted to. But even at 0-3, we were still better than them in that, you know what I mean, in that overall sense. Yeah. So, you know, let's just get out there and play some Flyers hockey and, you know, play like the #1 seed, and I think we can take care of business.
What time's tomorrow night's game?
I believe it is at 7. That's good. Yeah, right. So I'll be tuned in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, exactly, man, exactly.
The hype starts all over again.
Woo! At least they're in the second round, man. I'm happy.
I'm changing my prediction. Let's go sweep. Let's get fired up.
I like it, man. Confidence. That's what we need right now in Philly, man.
Yeah, because everything else is so depressing in Philly sports right now.
To say the least. So we'll jump to the Sixers, man. Obviously, you know, just a ton going on with the Sixers. We will let's just start here. You know, today's Sunday. Sixers play at 1 p.m. We getting swept today. Doesn't matter. You know, I know what you said on Twitter. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. We're just prolonging the inevitable. Yeah. We're not going to win the series at this point. You know what I mean?
There's zero shot there.
The Celtics have looked better than us at every aspect of basketball, coaching, management, you know, roster construction, talent, play on the, you know, play harder.
I don't think they're more talented. I think we have the more talent on our team. It comes to the management and the coaching and stuff like that. That's where we get outdone.
Yeah. And
Brad Stevens is everything that Brett Brown is not.
Exactly. And just to your point, you know, from game 1 to game 2, where I was begging Brett Brown for, you know, adjustments. He made the adjustment of the starting lineup going into the game. You know, we get that 25-11. But as the game goes on, you hear, you know, the commentators talking about Brad Stevens and how after that first game, even though they won, he still made adjustments to make them better going forward. He wasn't just content with that win in the first game because it was a closer game in the first game. They come out, blow us out in the second game. We cut it close in the third game, you know, but my whole thinking with that third game was that Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum were both in foul trouble in that game, and we were just barely able to hang on. You know what I mean? We were just clinging, you know. And the thing is, you see the Sixers like that second game at the beginning of the game where they're playing offense correctly. They're driving into the lane, passing it out to the open shooter, then dishing it down to Embiid with space. Not getting Embiid the ball out by the three-point line. You know what I mean? Posting up out by the three-point line. That's not going to work. And you saw it at the beginning of the game. They were flowing. They were getting good shots. And then they just fall right back into the same shit. And they're, you know, you see Josh Richardson going up against defense. He's not going past anybody. He's just running into a wall and then turning around and hoisting up a shot. You know, they're playing one-on-one basketball. They look to Embiid, and then they stand around when Embiid has the ball in his hands. He's getting double-teamed, and they want – you know what I mean?
When they dump it in, they just got to make that simple cut down the line so it takes the double-team off of Embiid. Exactly. I mean, it's basketball 101. Me and you, we know nothing, but we know it. But yet the coaches that are being paid in the NBA and on that team can't get those guys to do that for some reason. It's baffling.
Exactly.
It's that simple. Dump it in and cut down. Take that double team away. It just every time.
And you know, it's simple stuff like that. Simple stuff. You know, those first 2 games of the series, you have Kemba Walker saying, "This is the most space I've played with in years." So he's like shocked and excited to get to play our defense of, you know, dropping that big man on the screen and roll back to the paint, and you get a wide open shot. So I mean, Brett made adjustments going into the third game, and it's like, you guys haven't already even practiced, you know, hedging a screen? Like, that is basketball 101. You should have all of that in your arsenal. You know what I mean? Not to have to wait a game to switch to that. You should be able to do that as an in-game adjustment. You know what I mean? So just little stuff like that, it's just mind-boggling, which leads us to the next point. You know, Brett Brown – he's gone. Obviously, they canceled practice yesterday. That was a little odd in general. I don't know.
They came out later and said they were doing some film study. I think it's a little late in the season to just do film study, you know?
Yeah.
And an optional shoot around. That's basically his team saying, we're not showing up tomorrow.
Right.
You know, that's it, you know?
So to your point, do you think that was kind of, like Brett Brown's time to kind of just meet with the team and maybe just say his goodbyes? Like, I saw your tweet earlier today that Brett Brown might be out the door by 7 o'clock tonight. So
no, I didn't say he will be. I said should he be and will he be? Because I have this feeling that they're going to pull a Phillies last year with Gabe Kapler and drag the firing out, a few weeks and all. It's obvious that he's going. There's no debate about it. There's no way this team can bring him back. So just get it done. So we can start talking to whoever, whether it's the Tyrone Lues, the Van Gundys, whoever you want. We could debate that 100 times over on other shows. But just get it done with and get it over with. Because then they have to sit down and decide whether they're going to keep or get rid of Elton Brand also. Because that's another debatable topic there. So the quicker you get rid of Brett Brown, the quicker you can move on to all the other tough decisions. And on the flip side, bringing people in quicker so that they can start formulating their plans, who they could trade, start talking to the other GMs. There's so much that has to happen this offseason. The Sixers just need to sit down and just do it right away. By the time first pitch of the Phillies game tonight, it should be done, but it probably won't be.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no point in wasting time. Similar to what you said about, the Phillies and Gabe Kapler. You saw like a week after the offseason, Gabe's still going into the office and going in, mingling with the front. And so it's just weird all around. And I know the Sixers have like this strong connection with Brett Brown. You want to feel like you owe him something, but you've given him more than enough time to do something with these. Yeah, with this team that has two cornerstones of talent, and then you got guys like Tobias Harris on the team, which, by the way, I know he's been totally disappointed, Tobias Harris. But I think we've found out that he is not a number 2 guy. He's a number 3, number 4 guy. And,
he's a number 3 guy.
And that's fine. Sucks that you're paying him a max contract. But, I think when he's in that 3rd or 4th role, you saw last year when Jimmy was there to be that number 2 guy there. Because Simmons isn't a scorer. He's not going to be your number 2 scorer. But Tobias, he didn't thrive in the number 3 role, but he actually played way better than what he played this season, this postseason, which I was just totally shocked. I don't know what happened with that. I have seen a lot of buzz, with Stan Van Gundy, just because he was commentating the games, and he was saying some good stuff, I would say, about Joel Embiid specifically. How I would coach Joel Embiid: get your ass in the paint, But at the same time, he can spread the floor and hit a couple threes here and there. So I get that. I do think he settles for the jump shot a little too much. But when they're giving you that and you're tired at the end of the game, it's easy to settle for it after you've made a couple earlier in the game. But, there's a lot of coaching prospects. I think some new energy in general could spark this team, which gets me to, Elton Brand. Do you think – I don't think it's likely he's fired or that we clear the entire house. I think it's something to definitely consider, especially after this roster construction. I see the blame going to him and Brett Brown as far as roster construction. I'm not sure how much, leeway Brett Brown gets with that as far as, that Al Horford contract, for instance. The trade for Tobias, all these trades, since during the process, after the process. So it's hard to, just shift the blame around. Brett Brown is it's not even about the roster construction for me. It's about his coaching in general. It's not about anything else anymore. I think he's a good person overall. I just think that he's lost his voice. We've talked about this already. Yeah, it happens, man. And, Andy Reid was a great coach, went on to win a Super Bowl with Kansas City, lost his voice in the Eagles locker room. It happens, and it happens to the best of them. I just don't know about Brett Brown. I'm sure he'll get another job, maybe assistant coach, something like that, somewhere else, and build up. Maybe he could get another opportunity. I think he'll
get another coaching opportunity eventually. Yeah, absolutely.
Because, he did some good things, with this team. It just was not good enough. And maybe it's the Mark Jackson, in Golden State where he builds that team back to a playoff contender but can't get them over that next hump. And, Steve Kerr comes in and wins a championship the next season. So as far as, what's wrong with this team, there's a lot wrong. I'm not just shifting it all onto Al Horford. But I think that is the biggest mistake and the biggest, asset on the team that is going to cost us this offseason if we can't get rid of him. What do you think it will take to get rid of Al Horford's contract?
Well, obviously it's a big contract, so you're going to have another team that has a big contract that they have to get rid of, obviously. Right. But on the flip side of the equation, every single team in the NBA knows that we want to get rid of Al Horford. I mean, it's just plain as day. Everybody knows it's not working. We're not going to put him on the bench for a whole season and have a $100 million guy sitting on the bench behind Embiid. So it's going to take, and I know it's a very unpopular opinion, and I've tweaked it a little bit in the last day or so, but it's going to take probably that 21st pick, and it's going to take Matisse Thybulle going out of town. And I've tweaked it a little bit because he's kind of coming on the last game or two and showing a little bit again. Is it's either going to take Matisse or Shake Milton going out with that pick and Horford. Like everybody talks about Buddy Hield, and that Buddy Hield went out of Sacramento, and he would look good in that 2 spot on our team. It's a good fit. But Sacramento's not just going to give up Buddy Hield for Al Horford. They know they can keep Buddy Hield on that team. He just might be disgruntled, but he's still doing something. Al Horford has to go. So they're going to want something. And a team like Sacramento, how their team is set up with, De'Aaron Fox and some other good scorers on that team, a guy like Matisse Thybulle would be perfect as that defensive, force on that team. So it's going to take 21. It's going to take Matisse, and it's going to take Horford for Buddy Hield. Now, I haven't looked at some of the other potential spots yet, but, I know a lot of people don't want to get rid of Matisse, but personally, you can find a great defensive player in the draft. Even with that, we have the 34th and 36th pick in the draft, the 2 early second-round picks. You could repackage those 2 picks and move back up into the late first round maybe, or even at those spots get 2 guys. There's plenty of defensive-minded college kids that you could bring in here. Matisse, I just don't see him offensively growing enough. And I know it's only his year, but if anything, he's regressed offensively this year, not progress. So, you want to give him up? I'm okay. I know it's not a popular opinion, but, you probably have to move on from him to get rid of Al Horford.
And to your point, that was basically my next question was, who's untouchable? So obviously, I know me and you, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are untouchable. It's not in the question, especially without seeing a new coach. But, Matisse and Shake Milton, they are 2 young pieces on, rookie, young contracts, cheap contracts.
That Shake contract is the one. That's where his value is with his potential. But it's like $2 million a year for the next 3 years or something like that. Yeah. I think it's even cheaper than Matisse's contract. I mean, it's a steal of a deal. So some team is going to probably salivate over that contract with his potential and all. So, it's definitely something to consider there.
Yeah, but to your point about Matisse, love Matisse. He brings good energy on defense. He's got active hands. He does have a rare instinct for, stealing and, blocking shot, just defensive instincts. But at the same time, you do, and it is immaturity. He is just a rookie. You see those lazy, steal attempts from behind.
Always gets called on the foul on them.
Exactly. Using your hands instead of your feet. He can be a great defender, and I think he will get there. But in today's NBA, you got to be a 3-and-D at least. You know what I mean? And his shooting is just so inconsistent. It doesn't even look right. You know what I mean? So that's my problem. As an offensive player, he looks totally out of place. I saw somebody say it on Twitter, and he's a 0 on offense, literally. I mean,
saw that too, yeah.
You might get 1 3-pointer out of him and a dunk on a fast break or something, but he's not ever going to be a guy that has go-to moves on offense or that can open up and help an offense. And that's why you saw him get less playing time in the last game because, if you have Korkmaz out there, at least he can space the floor and shoot, you know what I mean? He even drives sometimes, But Matisse, I'm thinking the same way. Him, that first round pick. I have seen mock trades, not including Matisse, maybe throwing Josh Richardson there instead. Then you have to outweigh, who would you prefer to get rid of? Josh Richardson, Matisse.
Who are you going to replace? I mean, Josh Richardson has had an inconsistent year, but he's still an offensive player. And he does play decent defense.
Yeah.
So you're not just losing the defense with Josh Richardson. You're losing his offensive ability.
Yeah.
So, you got to weigh that, and then you're going to have to replace him. He does have a very attractive contract, too. I think he's only on the books for like $10 million next year. So, I mean, he is a very valuable asset. But, I'd be more willing to give up Matisse and his youth than Josh Richardson big time.
Yeah, because, I mean, especially if you look at this playoff series against the Celtics, Josh Richardson has been basically what Tobias Harris is supposed to be, which is that second scorer. He's averaging like 18 points a game during the series right now. So, just imagining him with a more open offense, with more shooters maybe, that's the one thing this offseason. We have got to get shooters, but we cannot forget about the defensive end either. You know what I mean? The main thing is, and I'll get into some of these mock trades here soon. We need ball handlers. Excuse me. We need ball handlers, and we need guys that can at least give the threat of shooting. And that's why Neto is. I know he's not a fan favorite because he doesn't score at a high clip. He doesn't shoot at a high clip, but he can at least handle the ball and not turn the ball over. And that's just been, that first game killed us with the turnovers. The second game just got totally out of hand. But throughout the series, you see, Shake Milton's ball handling isn't even that great. He's very unsteady with the ball. Matisse can't handle the ball.
Isn't Shake more of a 2, I think? Almost,
yeah.
He's like that.
He's a spot-up shooter. He's a spot-up shooter. He can go off the dribble, but it has to be a quick move. It isn't him bringing the ball down and then attacking the rim. He has to go off a catch and then take off. Mm-hmm. He's not your prototypical point guard. And that's ultimately what we do need. So let me run just 2 of these trades that I've seen. And I'm not saying that I would do them. I just thought they were kind of intriguing and ultimately kind of realistic. So for the first one, I saw the New Orleans trade, to bring in Drew Holiday. I thought it was a bit much to give up for, an older guy in Drew Holiday, which he's not past his prime, I would say, but he is, he's getting up there in age. And especially if you're bringing in like his level of a contract, which, I mean, if you're shipping Al Horford out, I would take it, immediately. But so the deal was Drew Holiday for Al Horford, a 2020 round 2 pick, the 2020 first pick via OKC, and then Shake Milton and a 2021 first round pick. Basically, you're throwing in those picks to get Al Horford out of here. And it was interesting. I don't like the idea of giving up all those picks. If we could take one of the first rounders out, I think that I might consider doing it just to get rid of that Al Horford contract. But ultimately, 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick plus Shake Milton, that's a lot.
It's a lot of picks. That second-round pick, too, is almost like a first-round pick because it's so early. I think they were – I think I remember seeing that one, too. I think it was the number 36 pick, so the second of our 4 second-round picks. And – I mean, I'm a big Drew Holiday fan. I think he's got 2 years left on his contract, maybe.
Yeah, it is too.
So, I mean, he can instantly step in and play that, point guard position for us. Simmons can stay that point forward. They could share the ball handling responsibilities. He's a great defender. He shoots fairly well. He can play 2 also. You can play the shooting guard.
Yeah.
He's got size. I love it. It's a lot to give up. And I know if you're getting Drew to give up Horford, you're going to have to throw in Shake because they're going to want that guard to step into that role there. But 3 picks that are basically all first-round picks, that's a lot.
It's a lot, man.
I'd like to see one of those picks not go in it. I would like to see 2 of those picks not go in it. I would even consider throwing Shake and Matisse in that deal
instead of the picks
in there instead of the pick. Go one of the first or that second-round pick. Al Horford and throw Shake and Matisse in there. That would almost make more sense to me, just because it's a lot of picks to give up. I don't know. It's
See,
tough
and
call.
at least with that scenario, you do have basically Al Horford going out the door with that $100 million contract, so that would free cap space, and you would bring in a great quality player to the team.
Yeah.
To your point, he can
all-star player.
Yeah, exactly, and he can play the 2 spot, like you said. They got Lonzo Ball in that starting lineup down there in New Orleans, and he's played with Rondo in the past. So he can be that 2-guard type of guy where he plays off the ball, but he can also be that guy when Ben Simmons goes out the game, he can handle the point guard, position. So I think that's a decent trade. The way you reestablished it, that would be a great trade just because you are getting rid of Al Horford's contracts. So you do have to ship out Matisse and Shake. You get Drew Holiday in at that to fill, basically Shake's position, but way better. You get rid of Al Horford, who's doing nothing, and then you do lose a Matisse Thybulle, who is a great defender. But now you have
Drew is on almost par with. He's been, I think, a first-team All-Pro defensive team guy.
Exactly. And then you do have the space that you can go out and maybe get another guy with that Al Horford free space now. I know Drew has not a hefty contract. It's actually pretty decent for his playing ability. So it at least equals out better than Al Horford, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. So then the other trade I saw, which is an absolute no for me, it was Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and the first-round number 2 pick for Ben Simmons and Al Horford. That's a no from me. The only way that I would do anything with Golden State is if they threw in like a Klay Thompson as far as – and I know they would never do that. I saw
some rumors on that too. I'm not ready for Klay. We don't know how he's going to
what he's going to be like, yeah. But that's the only thing I would even consider, you know what I mean, with the number 2 pick. Mm-hmm. But you look at like a Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins, that would just bring in more shooting problems, and it would just look even more disgusting. Draymond Green and Ben Simmons in the – well, I guess Ben Simmons would be going out, but I would never – why would you trade Ben Simmons for Draymond Green? That's retarded. Because it's not like Draymond comes in and is a shooter better than Ben Simmons, so it wouldn't open up the offense.
I don't even want to comment on that trade proposal. The thing I hate the most about the NBA trade deadline and right now in the offseason are the trade machines. And people just throw anything together. Just as long as it says successful, they think it's a great idea. But, you need 2 teams to accept those deals. But the one thing I will comment on that deal and other deals is that since the trade deadline, which was now feels like ages ago that the trade deadline passed, I saw so many trade proposals with 2 players' names coming to Philly, and I want nothing to do with both players. Andrew Wiggins coming to Philly in any deal, and D'Angelo Russell, before he went to Minnesota, it was him coming here. I want nothing to do with either of those players. They are gunners that have no defensive ability. They don't even shoot a high percentage, 2 or 3-point shots.
Yeah.
I want nothing. They've been on nothing but losing teams. I want nothing to do with those 2 guys. They're not winners. I stay away from Andrew Wiggins. Stay away from D'Angelo Russell. Please, please, please. In all trade proposals, if anybody sends me one, don't send me one with their names in it. Please, please.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think Andrew Wiggins just makes – it's the same thing we're already dealing with bad shooting, bad defense.
Who's on a worse max contract, Tobias Harris or Andrew Wiggins? Because he's on a max contract too. I would take Tobias Harris over Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, exactly. So, those trades are a little ridiculous. Obviously, we've seen like the Devin Booker proposals, which Devin Booker's interesting, but at this point, I would
consider it.
Yeah, I'm not doing Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, period, this year, period. Nope. I would give it at least one more season to see what we got with a new coach.
Yep.
But likely we'll see the Sixers get, swept this later today, unless something miraculous happens, which, don't be surprised if they win. It can happen.
It's inevitable, though.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they're
not
trying
coming
to
back and winning this series.
No. The Celtics look better than them. I expect, Jason Tatum, he had not a great game last game. He'll probably come out and put the dagger in us, this game today. And, big changes are coming, man. And honestly, I'm with you. I can't wait to see what happens and just get it over with. I want to move on, honestly. It's been painful. And this playoff series especially has just been, disgusting to watch. It's been painful, against the Boston Celtics, a rivalry, a team that has basically manipulated us and, taken advantage of our, mediocre management of a franchise. And, you even look at the Celtics this year, they got the 14th pick. So, you know what I mean? They're just always outdoing us in everything. And it starts at the top, literally.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and we'll finish the show off with the Phillies talk. We'll go through this real quick. We had a couple trades. I'll let Phil go through those trades a little bit with you guys. I haven't been able to keep up with the Phillies as much. I've been, heavy on the Sixers and Flyers playoffs. But I have been, just checking in on the Phillies here and there. I was able to catch that game from last night against the Braves, which we, blew another one. And, Bryce Harper continues to play his, MVP level baseball. The pitching, Zach Wheeler continues to look like a stud, great money spent. We go out there and blow a great start by him last night. Nola, the night before, didn't have his best game. It's probably his worst game of the season, I would say.
Absolutely.
But we did, you see the Phillies management. It's like, oh, you guys are actually alive. They made a few trades, for some relief pitching, some bullpen guys. And, you have Workman come out there last night and, he kind of – I can't even remember.
One pitch.
Yeah, one pitch, and it was just like, well,
basically, one pitch.
Yeah,
Welcome to Philly,
So, I mean,
it was like he came in first and third or second and third with no outs or one out and gives up that double, and it's just like, yeah. What did you expect? Did you
way to fit in.
Did you expect him to come in and shut the door there?
No, I honestly didn't.
I knew it was going to happen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Hey, it's like you said, a couple episodes ago, bad pitching is contagious.
It is.
And, it's not like he was some world beater anyways for Boston, but he comes in that first night and he fits right in. But, so, we lost the last 5, I believe, and then we won the 4 before that. It shows you complete inconsistency. We have a matchup. This will end the series against the Braves this weekend, right? Or do we play? Yeah. We play the Nationals tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Okay,
we're on national TV tonight. ESPN.
Oh man!
So the whole world gets to see this bullpen tonight.
And they're going to see the worst of it too.
I was reading something. I don't know who put it out there. Jason Stark, one of the guys that puts the craziest of stats out there all the time. That since the mound has been put at where it is on the field, distance-wise and all.
Yeah.
This was 1894. If the season ended today, it would be the worst bullpen statistically ever. So since 1894, that is, I can't even do how many years in my head. That's what, 120, 130, 136 years of baseball. The worst bullpen of all time.
That is unbelievable,
It's insane. Man.
Which, once again, speaks to the management to a very high extent. Just as this season, and we've already talked about this, if Bryce Harper gets fed up, we already got JT basically, looking like he's out the door because his price is just going up, you know what I mean? But he wants to be here is my thing. Why not get the deal done? So I'm just wondering, what does it take for Clintack either to switch the way? I don't think that's going to happen. He's not going to get better at his job. What's it going to take to get him gone? You know what I mean? Between him and McPhail, what's it going to take?
It's going to take them missing the playoffs, which they probably will. I mean, half the teams are making the playoffs this year, if not more. But it's going to take, that, and they're going to have to get rid of him. There's no ands, ifs, or buts around it. He's obviously, just like Elton Brand, he was too inexperienced for the job he was given, and he wasn't ready for the spot. And he's shown it. He didn't even sign Bryce Harper. It took John Middleton who we can debate on our show whether he's a good owner or not, because he makes some stupid comments that backfire and all. But on the flip side, it took him stepping up and going to Bryce Harper and Bryce Harper's wife in wherever, Vegas or whatever he's from, and locking that deal down because Clentac couldn't get that deal done. He couldn't get Manny Machado in here. He's just time in and time again not been able to make the negotiations or whatever you want to say to get the big deals done. And it's a shame. It really is.
Right.
So, it's just time for him to go too. And hopefully he's gone soon enough where the next guy could be hired and not lose JT Realmuto. Because that's the fear, that they drag on the firing of Clentac. JT goes and signs with the Yankees, which is a hot rumor because they're losing interest in Gabby Sanchez up there in New York. So they've got the money to spend. They don't have the payroll that they used to. So they're going to throw a lot of cash. So, and why would you want to stay here if you're JT Realmuto? You want to catch these bullpens, So they really need to move on from Clentac as soon as possible so that we don't lose anybody. So.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. And that, to your point, it's just like, what is attractive about the Phillies right now? Bad management, bad bullpen. What's attractive? The only thing that's attractive is the star power with Bryce Harper, to build that. But, you can't build the offense too much more. Like, there's not much more you can do with the offense.
Offense in baseball, basically.
You know what I mean? So, we have to do – it's just such incompetency to not address the bullpen. And then you're not addressing the bullpen on top of not signing back one of the best catchers, if not the best catcher in baseball. So I got a scary rumor for you here. Yeah.
Not a scary rumor. This is something I read before we came on to do this show, and it's been kind of in my mind for a few days now. And then I saw a Yankees site reporting it and all. Is something that we did with Cliff Lee back in the day. We traded away Cliff Lee, then brought him back when he was a free agent the next offseason. Is Clentac gutsy enough to know that we're not going to win this season, to trade away JT Realmuto right now, and to trade away Didi Gregorius right now, get some big prospects back for them right now, and then still try to re-sign them in the offseason once he's fired and somebody else is here? It's not something I don't want to see either of them off our team because they're two of the three best hitters on our team and two of the three best players on our team. But there's a lot of teams that could use a JT Realmuto and a Didi Gregorius right now. Our minor league system, our prospect system is bare. We called up the only two guys in Bohm and Howard that's even remotely ready. Is it something that you would consider doing? I saw it was a Yankees report because the Yankees reporter, it was like their Jim Salisbury or something like that doing it. I can't remember the guy's name. Was like, there are two guys that they've heard rumors in Yankees camps that they have. There's rumors that there's been reach out to the Phillies by some GMs. Would you trade these guys? And it's like, it's kind of scary to think that. But on the flip side, maybe that's a thing that, you should be thinking about right now because we're not going to win a World Series this year. So
no.
Why not rebuild that minor league system?
Yeah.
I'm throwing this at you, on the Cubs.
To your point, it is.
But we're at that point now. And we did that with Cliff Lee. We traded him away. None of the players we got for Cliff Lee that year were any good. But then we were able to re-sign him in the offseason when he was a free agent anyway.
Right. And to your point, if JT really does love Philly, then why not, he'd be thanking us to just go and compete this year and then come back and, have a better team around him. But the only thing with that, obviously, is if he goes to that other team and they are just like, hey, man, we're going to give you a max. You know what I mean? We're going to give you the deal that you want. And I'm sure there's some teams out there that would do that. So you just got to play your cards right. It's like you said, we're not winning the World Series this year. So at this point, it's more I'm more on the end of just not pissing, guys like Bryce Harper and Aaron Nola, these like stars on our team, these guys that are the cornerstones of our team, just not pissing them off and them demanding a trade. If we do that, then we're starting all over. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're literally starting all over.
I'm not going to back off of it. I think if this continues this year the way it is, and if we go into next offseason with Clentac still in charge and the team is still a mid-level team, a 500 team, I guarantee by the All-Star break next year, the trade deadline next year, there are the rumors that Bryce Harper wants out of town. It's not going to take 5 or 6 years. It's going to be halfway through his 3rd year. He is going to be pushing his way out of town. There's no way he's going to stay here for 13 years.
And deal with this.
He's not going to do it.
No, I agree.
And he's got the power to demand a trade and get that trade. Aaron Nolan maybe, but Bryce Harper, that $300 and some million has that power to demand that trade and get brought out. So I don't know. It's scary.
Yeah, and every year that goes by with Bryce Harper under that contract, it's it's going to look more and more like he's getting not underpaid, but decent market value. You know what I mean? He's playing at an elite level right now. So for him to the contracts are just going to keep getting bigger. You know what I mean? So we'll finish up here. We did have the trades. What did you think? I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. Do you think it'll benefit at all? And, does it take us to a better level of bullpen strength, or is it just really a stalemate at that point?
I mean, on paper, the moves, you had David Howe coming from the Yankees for minor leaguer Addison Russell. And we got Workman and Heath Hembree for Connor Siebold, who was a pretty well-regarded – he wasn't one of our top 20 minor leaguers, but he was a pretty well-regarded 22 or 23-year-old relief pitcher. And Nick Pivetta, we finally got out of town.
Thank God.
So that alone is worth all the trades. We don't have to watch Nick Pivetta pitch ever again in red pinstripes. That is a positive there. On paper, those 3 guys should make our bullpen better. They demoted Cole Irwin and some other guys that they're just terrible, relief pitchers and all. Yeah. So on paper, they should be better. But like I said, pitching is contagious. Bad pitching is contagious. You saw with Brandon Workman. I mean, he was coming over this year. He had like a 4 ERA with the Red Sox. But in the past, he's had he's a very successful relief pitcher. He should step into the closer role because Hector Neris he's just not got it this year.
Right.
He couldn't even handle the 8th inning last night. Heath Hembree, I don't know a lot about. David Hall, I mean, he's had success, but a lot of inconsistent success in his career. So he's better than Cole Irwin, but outside of that, he's not that. They're upgrades, but they're not going to turn us into World Series contenders, just these 3 guys. So It's not like they went out and got Aroldis Chapman or, one of the top closers in the game. They got 3 mid-level guys that are going to be put into, Workman or Howe are going to be put into crucial spots that they might not be, best suited in. Neris isn't suited as a closer, but forced to. Workman might not be suited as a closer anymore, but he's now our closer. So, sometimes relief pitchers don't handle that pressure well, so we'll see. But like I said, on paper they're better, and on paper we don't have to see Nick Pivetta again. So the trades are a positive in my book,
Yeah, so I mean, just speaking to your point, obviously it wasn't some switching of star players or anything. It's hopefully they can win us a game or 2 here and there. Maybe. Yeah. Hopefully it makes a little bit of a difference at least.
Maybe they'll get our bullpen ERA under 8 at some point. Because right now I think we're at 8.83 ERA out of our bullpen. Yeah, after last night's game. So if we could just get it below 8, that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, if we can just find something consistent to move forward with, that would be great. You know what I mean? Just give us a consistent production, anything, man. But yeah, we'll finish off with that. Phillies. Not looking too much better than the Sixers. Looking like that's going to be, spinning out pretty soon.
We need to talk more positive stuff. We're going to have to talk to you today or something.
Yeah.
This whole episode, outside of the Flyers talk, has been nothing but negative talk.
Seriously.
I've been all about the power of positivity, and this has been all negative.
Next episode, we're going fantasy football, and we're going Eagles. We're going football season, so we can be excited and be ourselves. Because, the Sixers and Phillies are just taking us out of our element. The Flyers, they're giving us something to live for right now. They're carrying us on. So we got the Sixers at 1 today. They might or might not get swept. What's it matter? Then we got the Phillies at 7, national television. Hopefully we don't get embarrassed, man, and can snag one of these 3 games against the Braves. But you never know. We're going to go ahead and cap it off. Remember to follow my man Phil, great co-host. I want to thank you for being on the show once again. Beard of Knowledge. Also follow All About the Birds, AAT Birds. Check out our articles.
2 for 2 today.
That's 2 for 2, baby. Check out the new website. We're covering NFL everywhere, all of it, fantasy football, Eagles, training camp, everything. It's all on there. Check out the site. You can also find some of their episodes on there as well, the All About the Birds podcast.
I want to do one other plug for the show. I can't say it, but you got to follow our Facebook page, All About the Birds. There's something huge happening tomorrow, Monday night. So you got to follow the All About the Birds Facebook page because it's going to be something. We like to say we set the trends. It's going to happen Monday night. So you got to follow the Facebook page. I'll be doing a live video sometime middle of the day on Monday, pumping it up and everything.
Nice.
So you got to follow the Facebook page to see it all.
Look forward to it, man. Remember, go follow All About the Birds. Check out the Facebook page, All About the Birds. Remember to follow Scotty Talks Philly Sports on Instagram and Twitter, ST Philly Sports 1. You can follow my personal account, Scotty Drown, on Twitter and Instagram as well. Remember to subscribe and like, review, comment, spread the love, share the stories. You know, we're just here to interact. Smash them. Smash them. That's it for today, guys. Remember to check out All About the Birds tomorrow on Facebook. Great episode, Phil. This is going to be it. All right. Scotty out. Peace out, Phil.